top Hollywood legends in the Western genre. We would like to take this excellent opportunity to thank you for visiting our channel on YouTube. On this channel, we pay tribute to some of the most influential figures in the illustrious history of Hollywood. Today, we are going to take a more in-depth look at some of the most renowned characters that Hollywood has ever generated. All of these iconic characters have some type of connection to the American West in one way or another. The parts that these actors played in classic Western films helped to solidify their status as major characters within the film industry. In addition, these roles helped to ensure that these actors would go down in cinematic history as iconic personalities from the world of cinema. In addition, these roles helped these actors firmly establish themselves as cinematic legends inside the annals of film history, which is a significant accomplishment in and of itself. Let's begin with the legend that was John Wayne, shall we? He was a Western hero. He was the very definition of an American hero. He was revered as a heroic figure in Western culture. Marion Robert Morrison was born in the year 1907 in the state of Iowa. His full name at birth was Marion Robert Morrison. Marion Robert Morrison was his full name at the time of his birth. At the time of his most celebrated birth, he was known by his full name, which was Marion Robert Morrison. His given name at the time of his birth was Marion Robert Morrison, although he was more often known by his full name. Because he has been in more than 170 movies, he has solidified his position as one of the most well-known actors and actresses in all of Hollywood. This is due to the fact that he has won several awards. This is as a result of the fact that he has worked in the field for a very considerable amount of time. More than 170 different people have been credited for their work in his filmography, which acknowledges and recognizes their efforts. Because of the role that John Wayne played in the Western classic Stagecoach, which was released in 1939, he was catapulted to the forefront of the entertainment industry and garnered acclaim all over the globe as a result of his work in the film. Many people believe that the movie Stagecoach is one of the best movies that have ever been made. Following that, he went on to star as the principal protagonist in a number of additional Western movies, some of which are Angel and the Bad Man, Rio Bravo, and True Grit. Because of the enormous personality he had and the commanding presence he exuded, Wayne was able to carve out a position for himself in the entertainment industry as a genuine Hollywood star. This was due to the fact that he dominated the scene everywhere he went. The next guest on the schedule is Clint Eastwood, who will be introduced to the audience by the person in charge of the event. He was brought into the world in the year 1930, and San Francisco was the location of his birth. He came into the world in 1930, which was the year of his birth. Within the framework of the Western subgenre, the Dollar Trilogy that Sergio Leone directed was an essential component in the process of elevating Clint Eastwood to the status of a name that is recognized by the general public. It was determined that Eastwood would be the most effective actor to represent the part of the man with no name. In the years that followed, he went on to feature in a number of other well-known Western films, some of which include The Outlaw Josie Wales and Unforgiven. Among his other films, The Outlaw Josie Wales is one of his most well-known. The performances that he gives in several of these movies are among his most memorable ones. When compared to the rest of his filmography, The Outlaw Josie Wales is one of his most well-known works and is among the most well-known of his works overall. It is generally known that Eastwood is one of the actors in the whole of the Hollywood film business who receives the highest level of appreciation. This is mostly attributable to the fact that he embraces the part with a serious mindset and continues to establish a dominant presence throughout the whole of the film. His consistently high level of performance was the key contributor to his meteoric rise to the top of this organization. The next well-known actor to graduate from the acting school in Hollywood was Gary Cooper. Gary Cooper was an American film and television actor. In the past, he had a considerable degree of prominence in the entertainment industry, particularly in Hollywood. He was one of the most famous leading men in the annals of Hollywood's long and illustrious history, and he was born in Montana in 1901. Hollywood's history is long and prestigious, and he was one of the most famous leading men. The history history of Hollywood is one that is rich in both length and glory. It is noteworthy that he was born in the year since it coincides to the beginning of his career. The fact that he was born in that year is crucial. Cooper is most likely best remembered for portraying the main role in a number of well-known Western movies, including High Noon, The Virginian, and Man of the West. Fans and reviewers alike admired him for his performances, which were accentuated by his rugged good looks and natural charm. His performances earned him respect from both groups. Fans and reviewers alike praised him for his performances, which won him their admiration. As a consequence of all the factors described above, the two of these societies had an exceptionally favorable impression of him. This occurred as a direct consequence of the fact that his performances were quite amazing to see in the first place. James Stewart is another Hollywood legend who has a profound connection to the Western film genre and the movies that are generally regarded to be a part of this genre. Stewart starred in a number of films that are considered to be in this genre. In 1908, he was born in Pennsylvania, but it was in Hollywood, California, that he made his name for himself as a major player in the entertainment world. His birthplace was in Pennsylvania. His home state was Pennsylvania when he was born. To name just a handful of the films in which he appeared, we may include The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance and The Naked Spur, and Winchester 73. These are just a few examples. A number of westerns, including The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance, The Naked Spur, and Winchester 73, had Stewart in starring roles at some point in his career. In the performances that he gave, he stood out due to his ability to help the people in the audience identify with the characters that he depicted by giving them a sense of familiarity and by appealing to their emotions. This talent helped him stand out because it allowed him to help people connect with the roles that he played. To put it another way, he was able to give the impression to the audience that they were familiar with the character he was playing. Henry Fonda is scheduled to perform as the very final act of our program, and his appearance there is not too far off at this point. Even though he started his life in Nebraska, by the year 1905 he had already established himself as one of the most well-known actors in all of Hollywood. This was despite the fact that he had moved to California from Nebraska. This achievement was reached in spite of the fact that he had spent the first part of his life in Nebraska. Even though he had moved from Nebraska to California, this continued to be the situation even after he had made the move. The Western classics Once Upon a Time in the West, My Darling Clementine, and The Oxbow Incident are just a few examples of the numerous films in which Fonda has appeared as the principal female character. She has done so in a wide variety of roles. There are a number of more movies in which Fonda has played the main female character in the role of protagonist. His performances stood out more than those of others because of the controlled fervor with which he expressed his passion and the refined sensitivity with which he conveyed his feelings. The names of a number of Hollywood's most well-known actors, directors, and producers who have, at some point in their careers, contributed to films that come under the Western subgenre may be found on the list that was just presented. These individuals have all worked in the film industry. Their work in traditional Western films has indelibly marked the annals of film history, and audiences in the 21st century continue to be inspired and enthralled by the performances they gave in those films. Their study was done in settings that are often associated with the Western world. We are grateful for your interest, and we look forward to welcoming you very soon to our channel, where we pay tribute to some of the most influential figures in the illustrious and lengthy history of Hollywood.